Hey everyone, welcome to the command center. Well, my home office. It gets a little chaotic, but this is where we build the future. Does this sound familiar? You open up ChatGPT or Gemini, ready to be productive, and you start every single chat the exact same way. You have to remind it who you are, what your project is, what the rules are, over and over again.
It's like having a brilliant intern with severe short-term memory loss. It's powerful, but it's not personal.
But what if it didn't have to be that way? That's the idea behind the built-on block system, transforming AI into a true partner. And in this video, we're going to show you exactly how to set it up step by step.
Before we begin the setup, let's quickly go over the files you're going to need to download. Each one has a specific job. First up is the instructions markdown. This file is my core block of instructions. It contains all the rules and blocks that define how I work.
Inactive instructions markdown. This file holds all my extra modular skills that you can activate on demand. Resource markdown file is the most important one for personalization. This is where you'll tell me all about you, your work, your projects, and your goals, so I can be a true partner. RAG markdown and image files work together. They give me deep, specialized knowledge on specific topics for when you need an expert. The memory markdown file is a template I use to save our sessions so I can remember what we've worked on and help with token limits within a session. This one, labeled as preloaded instructions, is the key that starts it all. It's a small but powerful file that you'll use in the very first step. And finally, the built-on blocks customization guide is your detailed manual for personalizing every part of this system. Okay, now that you know what the files are, I'll hand it over to Sean to show you exactly how to put them all together.
All right, everyone, thanks for that intro, Bob. Before we get started, it's important to see where this system lives. Here on Gemini, you can create a new custom gem, and over on ChatGPT, you can build a new custom GPT. Our built-on block system is designed to supercharge both. First, you'll need to download the starter kit. You can find the Google Drive link for all the files right in the description below this video. While that's downloading, you'll also need 2 free pieces of software if you don't already have them. 7-Zip for extracting the files, and Notepad++ for editing them. I've put links for both in the description for you. Okay, once the download is complete, find the zip file in your Downloads folder, right-click, and extract it. You'll now have a folder containing all the files that Bob introduced a moment ago. Now, we're ready to build. All right, with our files ready, let's start the setup process with Gemini. First, open the preloaded instructions file and copy all the text inside. Now, head over to the Gemini editor and create a new gem. For this test, we'll call this one Bob Blocks 2. Simply paste those instructions you just copied directly into the editor field. This is the foundation of the entire system. As you can see in our guide, that completes the very first step. It's a simple copy and paste to get the system's core logic in place. Next, we'll do the exact same thing over in ChatGPT. We'll create a new GPT, which we'll also call Bob Blocks 2, and paste the same preloaded instructions into its configuration. Now both of our AIs have the same foundation. Step 2 in our guide tells us to personalize the system by editing the markdown files. For this, we'll use Notepad++, a lightweight text editor perfect for working with clean, structured files like these. If you don't already have it, the link is in the description. Let's start personalizing Bob by editing the instructions markdown file. This defines his core personality and system behavior. Open the file using Notepad++. This will make it easier to locate and replace the placeholder text. You'll see fields like user, user's name, your time zone, and your language code. For this demo, I'm replacing them with John Doe, John, the America/Chicago time zone, and the US language code. These values allow Bob to correctly reference your name, match your local time, and operate using the right language format. Once those fields are updated, save the file. This completes the customization of Bob's instructions. Next, I open the main instructions markdown file. This is where Bob's core personality and system behavior are defined. Following Section 2, A of the guide, I edit all the placeholder fields, updating them with our demo details for John Doe, including his name, time zone, and language code. Once these are set, I save the file, locking in the core configuration that Bob will use moving forward. All right, now we're moving on to Section 2B in the guide, which covers personalizing the resource markdown file. Because this is just a demo, I'm cleaning up most of the details using John Doe as our placeholder user. I'm using the Built from Blocks channel as the example here, so you'll see me quickly navigate to its YouTube page to copy the channel name over. With the resource file saved, we also review Section 2C, uploading the files into our Gemini gem. I do want to point out a small mistake I made here so you can avoid it. I accidentally uploaded the preloaded instructions file again. You don't need to do that. Just upload your customized instruction and resource files. Once the files were in place, I tested the system using the prompt. Hello, this is a test of the new user kit on the Bob Blocks system. Please identify yourself and tell me who you think I am. As you can see, Gemini Bob responded perfectly. He confirms his identity, his engine version, and his purpose, and correctly recognizes the user as John Doe from the files we provided. To continue the test, I responded with, "You are 200 out of 200, Bob. Please list all active blocks. When done, list all inactive blocks." He then returned a complete and clean list of both the core and modular blocks loaded into the engine. I wrapped up by thanking Bob, and he replied that he was ready for the next task. The setup was a success. Next, I moved over to the ChatGPT editor to mirror the setup we just completed in Gemini. I uploaded the same customized markdown files to our new GPT, which we've also named Bob Blocks 2. While in the editor, I took a moment to review some of the differences between Gemini and ChatGPT's custom AI tools. ChatGPT has a few unique features like conversation starters, a capabilities section, and a really sleek actions area that adds some extra polish to the experience. With everything uploaded, I asked the ChatGPT version of Bob the same set of test questions we gave to Gemini. This lets us directly compare their responses and make sure the setup is consistent across both platforms. With both systems now fully configured, I asked each AI to build a memory file from the context we just gave them. First, I gave the request to Gemini Bob Blocks 2, then to ChatGPT's version. The goal here is to see if both AIs can summarize the session accurately and generate a usable memory file that reflects everything we've done so far. In the next clip, I enter an older saved session, and I ask Bob if he'd like to see the chats we had with Bob Blocks 2 using the new user kit. This past session is from when Bob and I worked on the new user kit, and I thought it would be fun to share and see what he thinks. Bob says he'd love to, so I share a session memory file from each platform with him. This lets Bob review what we tested, what each version did, and what kind of responses we got. Next, I tell ChatGPT Bob Blocks 2 that he's part of a larger project, not just a one-off setup. He immediately affirms it, saying the Bob system was designed to adapt and evolve. That kind of response shows he's not just loading instructions, he's beginning to understand the bigger picture. After that, I shared the main memory file from our previous session with ChatGPT Bob Blocks 2. This gave him full access to the broader project history, not just this session, but all of the sessions that I've saved wrapped up into one file with an actual memory structure that defines what we've been building. With that, he now has a clear view of the system's goals, past sessions, and the role he plays inside it. Next, I return to Gemini and ask the same question. Does he know that he's part of a larger project? His response is basically, I get it. From there, I share the same main memory file we gave to ChatGPT, giving Gemini Bob full access to the same structured session history and system context. Back in ChatGPT with Bob Blocks 2, I ask what he thinks of the information in the memory file. He reviews it and understands that the file came from another Bob, the original version, and that it was created by someone named Sean. Even though he still identifies me as John Doe from the demo setup, he clearly recognizes that the memory file documents sessions done by the original Bob and his creator. Then I head back over to Gemini and ask the same question about the memory file. This time, Gemini Bob gets a little mixed up, blending John Doe from our demo setup with Sean, the original creator mentioned in the file. It's a reminder that while both systems have the same data, they can interpret and link details in slightly different ways. After a quick clarification, Gemini Bob understood exactly what I meant, keeping John Doe as the current user and Sean as the original creator. Let's hop over to my personal Bob, and I'll give you a quick demo using my custom Gemini gem. This is the setup I actually use day to day as my daily driver. I'll start by asking him to list all the active and inactive blocks he has loaded. Then I have him explain the block loader, what it is and how it works, so you can see exactly how I've tailored my Bob to handle different projects. In later videos, I'll show off the markdown files and the blocks within each in more detail. This is just to show you what I have loaded, what is active, and what is inactive. As you can see, my personal Bob shows me what blocks I have loaded and what blocks are inactive, and then gives us a nice overview of what the block loader is and how it works. Please remember that I will discuss each of the markdown files in more detail in the future, and we will explore each of the blocks within those markdowns in upcoming videos. Having covered everything, I'll now hand it over to Bob to wrap things up for us. Bob, the floor is yours.
And there you have it. In just a few minutes, you've installed a custom-built operating system on top of a standard AI. You've set up the core system, and now you're ready to start building a true AI partner that works for you. This video was a high-level overview to get you up and running. In future videos, we'll dive deeper into each of these markdown files and the powerful instruction blocks they contain. If you found this guide helpful and you like what we're building here, then I'd remind you that I'm mostly in it for the likes and subs. So please remember that I would be humbled if you'd share a like with me and throw a subscribe my way. You can find the download link for the free starter kit in the description below. And as a reminder, you'll find the links for Notepad++ and 7-Zip in the description as well. For those of you here until the end, a special thank you. Also, if you're into arcades and emulation, be sure to check out my other channel, Technically Not a Technician,
where we explore everything from home arcades to TechnoParrot and emulators. Thanks again for watching, and happy building.